Good morning, Jambaggers.
Or afternoon.
What?
Oh, well, they might be, listening in the afternoon or the evening, actually.
Okay. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, Jambaggers.
And then there's that one guy who listens to us who commented, who listens in the middle of the night while trying to get his kids to sleep, and this is the only way it works. There's that guy.
Right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, sat on the toilet scratching your ass time, or whenever the hell you decide to listen to us, Jambaggers.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, welcome to another episode. And right off the bat, we have another exclusive for you from the world of computer game-related TV shows and sitcoms.
Yeah, this seems to be suddenly a lot more of those these days, particularly since last month.
Yeah, no, it seems like that it's kind of a niche thing that's starting to grow. I mean, they will absolutely make anything these days, except more Firefly, damn it!
Okay, Dante, we have been through this. We do not need another lawsuit from either Fox or Joss Whedon, although I think his legal team's pretty busy for justifiable reasons now.
Yeah, you might be. We're not supposed to say we like him anymore, or his shows.
I don't know if we do like him, do we?
I still love Firefly. But anyway, internet game, difficulty activists. There's a name for that group. That's the Gamers Against Stupid Hard Levels.
Okay, that sounds like it's something that should have an acronym. What is it?
Yeah, what is the acronym? I don't know. I can't figure out acronyms. I'm terrible at those things. Anyway, those guys who don't want to get good have produced a new series, one of the harder and more debated over video games. One of these ones from Software.
Oh, right. Yes. No, you sent it to me. Yeah, we are lucky enough we've got another world exclusive from some theme music right here. So the show is called, let me just bring this up, the promo stuff. The show is called Get Bad, Scrubs. And here is the theme tune. Play the tape. Well, it's not the tape. Play the MP3, Dante.
Here he goes. Got a sword, watch it shine. So great to be alive. Gonna go to a boss fight and die again. Sliced up, I not got far. Why is this game so hard? Gonna stay up late so I can die again. Well, I know what gamers say. You gotta get good if you wanna play. But I can't beat this boss off by myself. 'Cause I know I'm no Sekiro fan. I'm no Sekiro fan. Okay, I quite like that. That's all right.
Yeah, it's catchy. It feels familiar, but I'm sure it's going to run for probably too long. But yeah, fine. Yeah,
probably one season have like a really good ending, and then one season too long.
Stretched it with boring cards. Anyway,
yeah.
It
features a young gamer called DJ and his friend Truck. Both of whom pretend to be good at games to impress a blonde lady gamer called Harriet.
Very specific there, yes, Harriet. That's going to be an interesting triangle. Will they? Won't they? No doubt they will. But then they probably won't. But then they will at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll probably take like 7 or 8 seasons, and then they eventually will. Even though everyone knew it should have happened in like the first 1 or 2. But I don't know where they get these ideas from.
I know it's pretty. Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good. Yeah. I don't know where. I mean, this feels like they're getting it from somewhere.
No, shh. No, we don't want to give away. We don't want to be lawsuits or whistleblowers at all. We don't want any blowback from FromSoft. Those guys are scary.
Scary, are they though? I mean, a bunch of guys over in Japan. Guys who develop Sekiro, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. What are they going to do? Bunch of them.
I hate you sometimes.
Welcome, Jambaggers, to this month's Jambags Gaming Podcast with my host here, Mr.
Dante Rodriguez, and my adorable co-host, Mr.
Rudy Manchego. Thank you very much. Almost like that was scripted this time.
Yeah, no, it's kind of did that on the fly. Don't tell anyone we didn't script that.
Yeah, hope all you fine folks are doing well. We're entering the summer months. E3 is literally about to happen, but we didn't time this very well, so we haven't recorded any of the stuff for it, so we're not going to go into too much of that. But
yeah, well, this way we can wait and see what happens with Keanu Reeves or any other celebrities that are there, and then do a proper episode on it next month.
Exactly, and I would doubt that Keanu Reeves is coming back to E3 after what happened. Anyway, but yeah, it's feeling pretty good. You know what? This is right. If you check out our social media accounts, guess what? We actually met up with each other. You know, face-to-face distance, of course, because, you know, we're still in a pandemic. But for the first time since a very brief in August, we got to hang out. We did a bit of retro game hunting and, chilled out with the both our respective family lambs. It was a mighty fine time. It
was really nice to actually spend time with you outside of a quarantine bunker where we may or may not have eaten at each other's legs.
Yes, that... Obviously, it was also nice to compare the prosthetic legs we've had put on since then. I particularly like the... I never quite had the courage to, you know, get the springy the blades.
Yeah, well, I watched that Kingsman movie the other night, so I'm having a set of those fitted so I can smite my enemies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, although if you fell over...
Oh, God, no.
With those spiky ones, not in real life, obviously, I'm talking about, you know, the sword ones from Kingsman... or if you wanted to bend down and pick something up, aren't you just going to stab your own arsehole?
It happens generally even when I don't have razor sharp things, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be even worse when I get those fitted. Yeah. But still,
it's good. Well, you need to let you know the local hospital, because they're pretty used to seeing you come in with things, you know, round inside you. But this one will be probably a little more bloody than what they're used to. Yeah. But yeah, it was good, man. So it's I guess, you know, we still, you know, you're double vaccinated. I'm single vaccinated.
Yes.
So things felt a bit normal. Obviously, you know, there's going to be probably it's all going to go to rat poo again. But, you know, let's enjoy this, guys. It's warm, it's sunny. We're in shorts, you know, at the moment. And
let's not worry too much about Indian variants of coronavirus, and really kind of get out there and start enjoying life. And by getting out there and enjoying life, I'm pretty much meaning staying inside and gaming and wearing a mask anywhere I go.
Yeah, completely. Obviously, I'm not. You know, that's what I did anyway. That's what I did before the pandemic. Yeah. So what have you been staying in to play?
I have been staying in to play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I forget if I mentioned this in the last podcast, but I was just discussing with you that I am now at least 2/3 of the way through that. I've completed Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. I had the game from launch, so and like I say, now it's early June. It's pretty much just maybe 3 weeks. It's taken to do
it
that.
Wasn't. Yeah, but it came out 14th of May, so we hadn't, you know, your last podcast was...
it was before that.
It was not recorded, so, wow, you've gone through 1 and 2 and you're on 3 already.
Yeah, no, it's a sublime gaming experience. It's like a really well-written sci-fi novel with, you know, interactive bits with good combat and... so RPG mechanics, so instead of magic you have biotics, for those that haven't played the game, and sort of tech powers, so you can sort of burn through your enemies and that sort of thing, and your choices have actual impact on what happens with the game. I had to backtrack a little bit to make sure some of my sort of squad mates didn't die and all those sorts of things, and yeah, it's just been so nice to enjoy a single-player, story-driven experience that really feels like it's had the effort put into the story part of it, which, you know, I just don't feel that we get anywhere. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed games, but I really don't think the emphasis on story is quite there as much as a classic BioWare RPG.
No, you're right about the padding. Those games have got some interesting stories and stuff like that, but there's just so much padded in there that the story becomes less memorable because of it. I think that's my controversial opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've finished off Valhalla, and I will finish off Valhalla, but I feel like it's just not quite as tightly plotted as any of those games.
Without a doubt, mate. But I mean, it's interesting you say you've been looking back, because I've been travelling, you know, obviously down to the other side of the country to see you guys and see friends and everything. So as a result, I've been on a bit of a portable things. So I did a bit, I do have the physical copy, but I played a bit of on emulated, completed Metroid Fusion, which is a game I'd started before, a Game Boy Advance game, but I hadn't really got too far into. I hit a boss that I found really difficult and just rage quit. This time it was still difficult, but I did plough through it. Enjoyed the game. Probably my least favourite of the trilogy of Super Metroid, which is my favourite ever.
Yes.
Metroid Zero Mission and the GBA, because they're all the kind of sort of 16-bit style ones there. It's probably my least favourite, but it's still a really solid game. Really enjoyed that. And after making an impulsive buy of a new Nintendo 3DS XL, I have been playing some 3DS games. Been getting sort of a bunch of those. Been playing some Zelda.
Very nice.
Yeah, and that's largely it. I've been toying around with a few other sort of games on consoles, but that's been the main focus. So I've been going back a bit as well, playing some old games, and it's been a good time for it.
I've kind of been spacing out the Mass Effect a little bit with a very retro style game, the Broken Sword 5, the sort of point and click style adventure, and a very tiny bit of Simpsons Road Rage on my PS2.
Oh, nice. Great game that is.
Oh yeah, and it's totally original, not in any way a Crazy Taxi ripoff.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah, sure, the car's yellow, but then again, so are the Simpsons. So, and maybe Yellow Taxi ripped those guys off. I don't know. So, I mean, yeah, it's been we're kind of laid back. It's kind of a laid back podcast. Just chill out. We've got, the news is fairly laid back. There's nothing to get, well, there's a little bit to get angry about, but, actually, there's quite a bit to get angry about. But, let's just ride this wave and, yeah. Okay, let's go on to the news, yeah?
Welcome, Jambaggers, to our regular news segment from the Jambags, where we talk about the news that's really hitting home with gamers this month. Definitely not at all made-up news stories whatsoever. Genuine things that are absolutely happening in the world of gaming. So, without any further ado, let's move on to our first story of the month. What have you got for us, Mr. Manchego?
Well, we have got yet more news on one of the biggest publishers in the world, Ubisoft. Okay. This is all about Ubisoft, the French-based / Basingstoke-based developer who makes sort of some of the established code and some of the biggest titles out there.
Yes.
Now they've had a lot of problems with with abuse of their workforce.
They are trending on Twitter right now is hold Ubisoft accountable, or something about holding boobies anyway. I don't know.
And that's very, very important. And obviously the kind of thing is that about a year ago, when the abuse allegations came out, the CEO, Herbert the Frenchman, he came out and sort of said, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this, we're going to make changes, we're not those people. The result was that a few of the directors of Ubisoft were laid off. We covered this in the previous story, that everyone got laid off for a bit, but at full pay with loads of rights and stuff like that.
Kept all their stock options and all those sorts of things.
And it's come back to say, and it's been suggested last week, that nothing's really changed. It's just business as usual. But they come out with a statement ahead of E3, and I think they're trying to get out ahead of this. The CEO, Herbert Frenchman, again has come out and has announced that he believes that the abuse allegations that are still ongoing at the company are all probably the work of, as he coins it, a dark Sith Lord.
Dark Sith Lord. Hey, he can't say. Oh, he's saying this because they've got the rights to make a Star Wars game in 2022, haven't they?
Well, I think that's a cynical way to look at it. Yes, but he's saying that it's actually the fault of a Sith Lord who's pulling all the strings behind the scene, suggesting possibly at the behest of Tencent, the investment firm in China that's investing a lot in the video game industry. But basically, he's asked all the employees to keep a very close eye out for any force-wielding Dark Lords of the Force, and he very strenuously puts it, and not he repeats, not at the senior management team who've had nothing to do with any of the abuse or covering up abuses or profiting from abuse or any of those kind of things. Definitely not the senior management team. Clearly the work of a Sith Lord along the lines of Senator Palpatine from the Star Wars prequels.
I don't know. This
What do you think?
Has a kind of a whiff of apologism about it, as far as I can tell. It feels like they're kind of sat in their offices having a bit of forced choke and stroke at our expense.
I mean, yeah, I think this is, I feel that it's become quite trendy now to blame the Sith for any issues that, or any were like, how were we to know that drinking bleach wasn't going to do it? A Sith Lord told me to do it. How was we to know that, betting on the fight, on the housing market was a bad idea? The Sith Lord maybe do it. It's become the go-to excuse for a lot of corporate entities right now. And I think that, yes, it's sometimes there is a Sith Lord behind these things, but, nowhere near as much as they make out.
No, occasionally it's Donald Sith, isn't it, from time to time?
Yeah, that's 20. That was 2020. This is 2021. Now it's
move on to a new scapegoat. I think
exactly.
we've heard all this before. Oh, that Herbert Lefranchman. I just don't know where he's going to swing next. It's kind of excruciating and exciting to watch in equal numbers, but yeah,
completely. So, what have you got for us, Dante? You got a news story now about coming out of ahead of E3.
Well, in terms of the general state of game releases in E3. It looks like from a collection of different sources from different game developers and publishers that every single publisher is now so afraid of coming up with problems that they had with another major release from the end of last year. It does seem like because of the poor release of Cyberpunk 2088 from Laserdisc Blue Balls, that Polish developer. Because of the bad effects. I mean, you hear about the Blue Balls having a kind of shrinking assets.
Yes,
it's really backfired for them, and because they shot their Cyberpunk out too early from their Blue Balls, it's really not gone well. And other companies don't want to have that same kind of premature cyberspunking like the Blue Ball company has.
I mean, I think you've hit on the nail on the head, which is that, ultimately, there was very much a, thing is that we squared it out. Mm-hmm. And it might be a bit premature, but ultimately, we'll say sorry and we'll give it a go. We'll have a go, a bit later on it.
Yeah.
But now
build it back up again, and eventually they'll release something that is worth receiving.
Yeah. And people and games will eventually be satisfied. And if they're not, then, they'll move on. But I think now people say, well, actually, that's an awful lot of work and effort, and money to do that. Let's just go celibate and delay it.
Yeah,
let's get a celibacy ring. And
maybe kind of try and release a game that's not a broken mess on its launch day and needs about 4 or 5 patches before it's even worth playing.
Yeah. I mean, it still kind of sucks. From a, if you're looking forward to new stuff, but at the same time, as we just said, we've got a lot of old games to play. So,
yes, we do. We're fine. Yeah, we've got old things we can do in our basement, which don't require any new games to be released all over us or anything like that. So
games. Anyway,
sorry, there's a weird metaphor going on here, isn't there? But yeah, it does seem to mean that literally E3 is just going to be Todd Howard showing up and talking about nothing, and a jacket display from Phil Spencer, I believe. It's not going to actually mention any games. So.
Yeah, I believe the jacket will be a calendar of 2022, kind of, it'll be both a cool jacket, but a functional calendar that can be used to show when actually games might come out.
I think we from various kind of Twitter exchanges, we know that Starfield isn't coming out this year. It's going to be 2022 at the earliest, I think, and just everyone's being a lot more cautious. They're playing it very safe. They're using gaming contraception, perhaps you might say.
And talking of playing it safe, I have another news story from Ubisoft where these guys are perhaps playing a little bit safer. So
Ubisoft,
Ubisoft also have got a much delayed game coming out, probably in 2022. They've got one of their flagship titles, which had promotional material released. It was Rainbowing Siege : sorry, that's in the the punctuation colon.
Not the button.
Pandemic and work from home don't go out ever. So that was the original title. They have now changed that title to Rainbowing Siege: It's Just a Cold. it seems that Ubisoft had faced some accusations of trying to profit and prey on the fears of people during a big, large, global pandemic. But again, the Ubisoft the media team have come out and violently they've sprayed machine gun fire into the air. They've insisted that the name change had nothing to do with this, and that pandemic and work from home don't go out ever was just a working title that represented what they want gamers to do, as opposed to anything to do with that pesky COVID-19 infection thing that seems to have affected some stuff.
Oh yeah, because
they said
games aren't political ever, are they? I mean, that's
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's absolutely nothing political about trying to name your game a pandemic and work from home don't go out ever, and changing it to it's just a cold. There's nothing that I could take from that to be as political. So
no.
Yeah.
And didn't Ubisoft co-op the Black Lives Matter fist into some of their marketing a while ago, and then claim they knew?
Oh yeah, into a kind of dystopian sort of mobile game.
Yes.
So that's these guys have got their pulse on the mood of 2020 and 2021, like a boss.
Yes, this is your finger far from the pulse, squarely up your head. Anyway, shouldn't quote Kevin Smith movies here too much.
No. But we have a final story.
Our final story,
which is wow. This one is unbelievable. I mean, literally, you will not believe it.
I know. I can't believe we came up with this one. This is another fictional story that we've completely made up, because it isn't.
What?
No, this is a real story. This actually happened.
No.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
No.
No. I hate check. I just reset reporting things that Jim Sterling's told us about. But yeah, this is happening. It's exactly as I've written it there for you. It's Pride Month, everyone. Happy Pride.
Yes, absolutely. To those celebrating, amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So, and it seems like Pride has become a lot more corporate lately. I mean, things like Skittles come out in sort of black and white because the only, I quite like the Skittles thing because the rainbow is to do with Pride now. But loads of other companies are jumping on the Pride bandwagon. They're just putting rainbows on their social media avatars, and but they're not actually doing anything Pride worthy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, which is as neither of us are members of the LGBTQ plus community, so we can't necessarily identify that, but it does seem that whilst visibility and support and social acceptance is vital, at the same time the cynic in me just says, well, if what are you doing to put your money where your mouth is? But you're telling me, but if I understand here, you're telling me a game company has done that. Well,
they've tried in a really tone-deaf kind of way of doing it. So, Warner Brothers, they've got a lot of franchises behind them, the Harry Potter and that sort of thing. But the one that we're focusing on today is the DC fighting series Injustice.
Yep, good in terms of the first one, really good game. I've not played the second.
No, I've not played the second one. Yeah, I've got the first one on my demonized PS Vita, which I play a little bit from time to time. But yeah, no, the Injustice 2, I think it is. They've had an online event because of Pride, and they've chosen to focus on one of the DC Universe's LGBTQ pluses characters, and that would be Poison Ivy.
Yep. Okay. Again, that sounds reasonable. What's the catch here?
Well, this is the tone deaf part. Well, basically, they've set up an event to say how many times can you take down Poison Ivy in your online games of Injustice 2. It essentially just saying, let's beat up the gay character.
Wow. I mean, let's just deconstruct this a little bit. So, in celebration of Pride Month, which is really a celebration of LGBTQ plus community, who notoriously have suffered in the past and still do violence, abuse, lots of horrendous stuff just in day-to-day life, or living their lives. The solution to make things better is a place where you can go online and beat up a member of that community repeatedly. Is that what I've understood?
Yes, and I think you get some kind of in-game reward. The more times you beat up the queer person, the more times you, the more in-game currency you get, or something like that.
I mean, you said use the word tone deaf there. That's a little bit generous, possibly.
I think you might be right,
because that's very much like taking a power drill to both your earlobes and then chopping your ears off and staple them to your anus, isn't it?
I think it might be, yeah. I think that's about the only metaphor which comes close to how bad this is. I mean, how many levels of kind of corporate oversight did this have to get through before it was released to the public, and then it was, quite rightly had quite the backlash from universally amongst gamers.
Yeah, and I do think that this is kind of comes to the point, which is that it just goes to show the cynicism, which is that it's not about doing anything that's about positive representation for these bigger companies. It's about we'll do something that we can say is Pride related.
Yeah, just so
Pride Month.
There's a rainbow on our screen. We're doing good things.
Exactly. And it's a case of there's loads of things you could do with an array of characters. And there is across fantasy and comic genres lots of really great great characters and stuff that you can bring into it and do something interesting with. And no.
No, they just didn't. No. And I think one of the other points in Jim Sterling's video was that if literally anyone on their board of directors or with creative control was a member of the LGBTQ plus community, they would have seen this and put a stop to it. But clearly, nobody in their upper echelons is a member of that. So
and obviously, if there was anything, that there was nothing that could be said about it. I mean. I think well done, Warner Bros. That is, to be able to out ridiculous the Jambags from the Jambags news section.
Yeah,
you put Ubisoft and
digital paintings,
and all their other paid-up companies to shame with that. That's just a bit of a slow hand clap, I think.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay. Wow. Okay. On that one, let's go talk about Sonic Hour, shall we?
Yeah, let's move on to our next bit.
Hey, Dante, look, I've got Jocasta and tacos round, and, those guys are vegans, and I needed to make some tofu burgers, and I can't find the lard anywhere. I really need the lard to give it some flavours. And whoa, where the heck did this blow-up hot tub come from?
Shh, Rudy, I'm live right now. Ooh, yeah, Jambaggers. Sub to our podcast so things can get really hot in here.
What?
10 more subscribers, and we press this button, and the tub gets filled with the sexy, slippery, sauce.
Sorry, can I just interrupt one? Sexy what? Dante, if you used all the lard, in fact, not all the lard in the house, but all the lard on the street.
Ooh, double the fun, Jambaggers. It's time to sprinkle some manchego on this burrito.
That's me. Sprinkle what now?
Just go with it, really. Just go with it.
You're in a hot tub and there's a lot of lard. I'm really not sure about this. I mean, we've done pro wrestling, that went quite badly, and a number of other questionable selling out schemes, but I feel this is crossing a slippy, sloppy line.
Oh, it's so sad. Okay, right. Stop the music. Right. Okay, fine. Just hear me out with this, okay?
Okay. Let me guess. This is where you say that hot tub streams are really hot right now and in the news and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that.
And that everyone unequivocally loves hot tub streams and streamers that do it.
I mean, yeah, that's actually written down on this little scrap of beer mat that I had to try and convince you on this, so...
And that this is a trend that we should get on board with by turning Jambags into a hot tub podcast with the addition of lard.
Am I actually that predictable? Never mind. Yes, all of the things that you just said, those.
I see. In that case, I'm in.
Wait. Were you wearing that banana hammock anyway? Oh, never mind. Okay, Jambaggers, let's get sexy.
Ooh, yeah, boys. Ooh, it's quite slippery.
Oh, that's my phone. I've got an email an email from literally all of our podcast hosting sites.
Ooh, this is getting spicy.
Not really. I mean, it's not. What? It's just YouTube and Apple Podcast, all the Spotify, all those places you can see the Jambags podcast. Apparently we're now doing a totally new section of podcasting. They've had to move our content into a protected section of their websites.
I mean, that sounds that it could be pretty hot, or is that bad? Is that? I mean, Sorry, will people know to come to this section for this really hot, sexy stuff?
Sexy stuff. No, okay, let's have a look at this section on their websites. Okay.
Read the small print, Dante, you minx.
We'll just have a look at who else we're along. I mean, we are some of the first people in the podcast genre to do it. I mean, the fact that podcasts are audio only, maybe not that many people are going to be going down this route.
It's our first time listeners.
Yeah. So, have a look at who else is on this list. Some of the other people on here.
It's really difficult to hold this list in this phone in Lard.
Very slippery.
What's that for? Hang on a minute, we know that guy. I didn't know he had a podcast. What's this?
Hello, I'm Cyril McMoist here, and hello from uppersnappers.com. Cyril Moist, I'm the founder and head photographer of cosplay website Upper Snappers, here with another monthly edition of the Tufty Mounds podcast.
Oh no, I feel sick. Dude.
Now the lard's feeling all slimy and not in a good way.
No, this was a terrible idea. Now we're locked away in a barely used section of the podcast world with perverts like Cyril McMoist. Ugh.
Oh, that is. I just feel bad. I'm just gonna. Oh, I can't. I'm just gonna.
No! Don't leave that button. Dude. Jambags, this is so very sensually not sexy at all.
What is this? You said it was. Well, this isn't all lard. What? There's a bit of a smell going on. It's warm. What's this smell? What is this? What is this?
This is lard. This is what lard smells like.
Wait a sec. What is lard?
Lard is meat fat.
Meat fat. Oh, bollocks. Quentin Tarkas Jocasta, don't eat that tofu dog.
State to the gaming nation.
Oh, Dante, I think I've just about got most of the lard out of my bits, but there's a little bit I can't quite reach just down.
Look,
can you...
We are not in the hot tub now. I'm not reaching down to get that for you.
Okay, that's all you said yesterday. Anyway, dude, I have got some pretty big news.
Oh, yeah? What you got for me?
Oh, we have made it big style in the gaming industry. I mean, like, we are in the upper echelons. This is it. It's going to blow your tiny little mind.
Oh, really? What is it, man? What have we done to get to this stratospheric level?
Let me be clear. This is pretty damn big. I mean, B-I-G, big.
Oh, you are so incredibly dope at spelling. It sounds really, really huge. You have very weird notions of size at times.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a common complaint. But anyway, get this. I, Rudy Manchego, have been asked to stand witness at the Epic versus Apple trial in the United States. Boom!
The Epic trial, Epic Games versus Apple.com, eh?
Yeah, that's right. The whole shindig over whether or not Apple were right to remove Fortnite because they tried to put a way of not spending money on the store there, and then Epic saying they charge too much, an old monopoly because they charge 30% for the apps and blah 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 blah. This could have really far-reaching implications for the gaming and technology sector as a whole. This is pretty big.
Yeah, that whole thing. I got asked to go a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, this could make or break us as a... But wait, so what?
Yeah, I was asked to go on that 2-3 weeks ago. Anyway, should we play some more World War Z, kill some zombies?
Wait. You were asked. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. Why,
Well, just a few weeks ago. I already done my time trial, given my statement. It's all done. Yada, yada, yada. And, I want to shoot some zombies.
We do a gaming podcast. You didn't think to perhaps, tell me, your co-host, that you were playing a major part in one of the biggest cases of all time?
Well, didn't really seem like a big deal. I mean, you going to join this game or not?
A big deal. Tim Cook from Apple's been in it. The head of Epic, Tim Sweeney's been on it. They've asked Sony and Valve to turn up to it, and now Jambags has been on it. This is fucking hell. This is huge.
I mean, not really.
How do you mean, not really?
Well, sure, they've had those big hitters on at the start, but after those guys, then, industry insiders and YouTubers, investors, they seem like kind of a drop in quality after that, to be honest.
What do you mean?
Okay, well, I've been on the bench. My next door neighbour, who's a gardener's been on the bench. Even my mum's been on the bench, and she just thought that she'd won a holiday for 2 weeks when they mentioned a Fortnite, which obviously we know is a PUBG now. They're getting everyone.
What? So wait a minute, your mum was called up to go on the stand and to give evidence before me?
Yeah, and my dad too, and my nan, if it makes you feel better. It might be been doing alphabetically, although Rodriguez comes after Manchego, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, the Dante comes up. Your nan, I don't get it. I mean, why? What, they've got nothing to do with gaming. They aren't even interested in it as a medium. Why is everyone getting called?
But the legal team, they're trying to pad this one out. Both Epic and Apple are so super loaded that everyone on their nans is getting invited to give evidence.
Well, yeah, it's only in your case. But, I mean, that is a bit of blow to me, I'll be honest. I mean, this isn't really a very good state of the gaming nation if, like, your nan's been on it. So presumably all our listeners have probably been on it as well.
I would imagine that a good percentage of our listener base has been called to give evidence in this. I mean, when are you up?
Next Tuesday, and it's just before tea time, and I get quite grouchy if I don't get my tea on time. But anyway, you know.
Yeah. Good luck. Just pack some snacks or something. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you know what? No, actually, I think I've got a bit of time to prepare. And I'm going to do something serious in the name of gaming. For too long, these major corporations have played their little games and messed about with consumers. It's time that somebody made a stand. And on this world stage, at this mega trial, I'll have the eyes and ears of every single reporter and major news outlet. I'll tell them about the outrage, the monetization, the commercialization of our beloved art. I'll tell them about the abuses and the crunch and the horrible working conditions, and that the real news isn't that rich lawyers are sapping money, but the hard-working studios, developers and creatives who make the industry what it is, the QAs, the promoters, the events organisers that show so much passion. I'll tell them what it really means to be a gamer.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Just let me know when you're back so we can play some more World War Z, yeah?
So, Mr. Manchego, if that is your real name.
It isn't.
Can you tell me, in your own words, how often have you won a game of Fortnite?
I haven't played Fortnite. That's a game for filthy casuals. What I want to talk about today is the outrage.
That will be all. Prosecution dismisses the witness.
Well, wait, what? I want to make a speech to right all the wrongs of the
I
game.
said dismissed.
But
Dismissed.
Tis.
And Jambaggers, that is bringing us towards the end of this month's edition of the podcast. And as you know, every month we end with questions that have come from the Jambaggers, from our listeners. And we have some doozies this month, don't we, Mr. Manchego?
We do. And I mean, it's been a slippery month for us, quite literally.
Very slippery, very gooey, slippery. Very meaty.
Yeah, we still are carrying the odour of our hot tub blood experiment.
Yeah.
But let's not get this. So we aren't going to be slippery with these answers. What I'm trying to get to. There was a segue there somehow. I was going to say that we may be slippery physically and have solid aroma, but we are totally not slippery. We're going to answer these blooming questions and do a bloody good job of it.
You are so great at podcasting. You are so smooth. I mean, not as smooth as you were when you were covered in lard a minute ago.
Yeah, thank you. I was. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've never been that smooth in anything I've ever done. I could have literally slid under the door. But anyway, first question from top contributor Metal Shark here.
Hello, Metal Shark.
Yeah, we like this question a lot. We haven't actually, normally we prepare sometimes our answers to make sure we don't clash. For this one, just to give you a count, we have deliberately come up separately with our own answers for this. And I've gone a bit weird with mine. So we don't know what we're going to say in this one. So question is, Dante, you've been asked by Todd Howard, it just works, Todd Howard, to design an NPC character complete with quest to be voiced and motion captured by your co-host for the upcoming Starfield game. What do you think they'll best be able to portray?
Okay, yeah, no, I've got mine. You got yours?
I've got mine, but I'm going to let you go first, sir.
Okay, well, I believe the character that you would most be able to play would be an intergalactic space farmer who was working at a galactic farm of some description, where a hidden section of galactic space hookers were hidden round back.
Well, that's. I was going to put up a fight on that one, but actually, in the grand galaxy of things, yeah. So my quest would be that what have you got to find my space hookers?
You're hiding the space hookers round back, and basically you take like the simplest, easiest question to say that they are round back, much like that Simpsons character that you often imitate.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could argue, but that's probably the extent of my ability to be an NPC, and I would have an equally pointless side quest, and you won't get much XP from it, and you sure as hell you'll probably get a disease from it that will debilitate you for the rest of the game. That's my contribution to it. Yeah, that's to be honest, that's thrown me a little bit. I feel that's also very specific because compared to our game, which is in my world, you're an amorphous blob. Not necessarily large. I don't mean that as a kind of physique term. I mean that you're an amorphous blob who kind of oozes. Yeah. And what it is that it's a side quest. It's an escort mission. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's an escort mission.
Yeah.
Where I've got to escort you, and you are on your way to a mating ritual on your home planet.
Okay. Yeah? Okay.
Problem is, though, is that my spaceship has got loads of grating, like, it's like metal because it's quite cool, and you keep slopping through it, and the side mission isn't the actual piloting what you think it's going to be. It's trying to sweep up the goo, and you're kind of like, but you're like making snarky comments through it. You're not like, you're not passive in this. No. But it just so happens that I've managed to get the bit of your blobbiness that's got the voice box. But yeah, that's kind of my thought. And so you think it's going to be like just a standard escort one, but actually it's kind of going to be a fun little physics-based thing of like trying to shepherd you, sort of all the bits that have gone into bits all over the place, to shepherd you or bits into like some kind of like unit to cool you down, so you'll
so you become congeal together.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be kind of like weird, like, okay, well that was pointless. And at the end of it all, there's a horrendously unpleasant sex scene to watch once you get to the ritual, with this user slopping all over all sorts of things.
Yeah, so two sort of amorphous blobs doing the
not just two, it's like half a planet full. It's just like, just the noise itself would be worse than the two of us in Lard.
Oh yeah, no, that does sound pretty horrific. I mean, fun but horrific as well. Yeah, okay, nice.
I don't know why
this more than I did.
No, it just came to me. It's certainly not part of my part of the fanfic that we write for the Jambags podcast, that I want to see Dante as an amorphous blog slopping all over people in a sex ritual. Of course not. Whatever. It's www.jambagsfanfic.com.
Mm-hmm. As a side note, I really hope Starfield's good when it eventually turns up. I mean, it would be nice for Bethesda to release a decent game for once.
I would not hold your breath. Anyway, that's a different
they've
topic.
got Microsoft money behind it now, haven't they?
Yes, absolutely. This is the same studio that made Crackdown 3, cancelled Scalebound, have only made decent Forza games, and a couple of okay-ish. I guess War 5 actually was a good one.
Hey, they keep re-releasing Halo.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yes, no. Anyway, let's not get into this. But I hope all games are good. But if they make something that was along the lines of they make a Skyrim in space, hell, if it's as good as the Outer Worlds.
I was going to say that as well. Yeah, they've got a lot to live up to with the Outer Worlds, because that was a lovely little game.
Yeah, and I still feel, and I know it probably isn't. I do still feel that was a little bit of an up yours. From Obsidian.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Cypher's been on the cards for a long time now, and I think they kind of come out with like his art. It's probably going to be a shorter game and not as expansive, sure, but they were like, we're going to go out and everyone's going to compare it and everyone's going to like us better.
Totally right. That's cool. All right. literally had some questions come in via text as we've been recording this podcast.
Wow, we are. You hit me. This is fresh. I don't know what it's going to be. Hit me with a question, Dante. Metaphorically.
Okay, so question comes from some of our Twatch community.
Yeah.
What do you think people do with Ariel Derrier's bathwater, or Belle Delphine's bathwater, as to use the real character? And are we going to start selling hot tub water?
Wow. I mean, the first part of the question, which is the one I'd rather think. I don't want to think about either of them. To be honest, they're quite odd. I am fully supportive of Belle Delphine, or as you know, our Ariel, our stream, the Twitch stream that we're involved with, selling stuff if people are willing to buy it. It's their brand. I certainly don't want to shame anyone that's sort of doing that kind of work. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it is a really good question. When you've got it, what do you do with it? Now, presumably, the point of it, I guess, would be to put it on a shelf and say, I've got it, it's a collector's item. But if it has actually been used, is it going to start, going a bit,
You don't want to leave it in the sunshine, do you?
Ankles? I don't know, because obviously water, from a drinkable perspective, obviously water doesn't last a long time, but there's bacteria in it. But presumably there will be bacteria in it, because it doesn't matter how clean you are, there's going to be there's bacteria on you.
Bath bomb bits in it and that sort of thing.
But there could be, there might be the soap might kill the bacteria, might be soap stuff like that. But there's no like chlorine or preservatives in there. But if you put the chlorine in there, then you're taking away the whole point, which is having something of the stream in there. Or is there, or maybe I'm being ridiculously naive about that. Maybe that's not why you would buy dirty bath water. Maybe you'd do something else with it. Or, I don't know. What would you do with it, Dante?
I can't think of it seems too expensive to kind of get out and tip over you, and I can't really see how that would be fun or whatever the reaction people want to get from it.
It'd be quite good if you had if you had someone over you didn't like, wouldn't you? Be like, some water.
Some gamer girls,
Yeah, you wouldn't tell him. But it's water. It's very expensive, and it's like from Army Next.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like that free water that those American companies selling like pond water to people or something like that.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And are we going to start selling our hot tub water? Well, if people are going to buy it, then hell yeah. I mean, we are kings of selling out here at Jambags. If we can make money out of it, we will.
Yeah, our hot tub water. It's not going anywhere, quite literally, because it's very hard.
Lard.
It's very hard to drain lard, and it very easily blocks up the drains. So we've actually got quite a lardberg in our drainage system. So please, if anyone wants some of it, it's going at a discount price. Like literally, we are giving it away because we've got. It takes quite a lot of lard to cover up these two bodies. I'm not going to lie, and animal, it's animal fat, and it takes a while to get off, and it does certainly clog up the drainage system. So yeah, if you could please, we're offering it. If you listen to the podcast, you get a free bit of our lard.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll find out your IP address, trace your actual address, and there'll be lardy water coming to your house, whether you order it or not.
Exactly, and trust me, it doesn't matter if you the great thing about this is it doesn't matter if you seal up your letterbox, it's going to get through.
It'll get
apply enough pressure, it's going in somewhere, keyhole, under the mat, around the door frame, an air vent. It's getting in your house somehow.
Okay, I have one more from the text source here. As two straight white males, clearly you are experts on LGBTQ plus issues and representation, because obviously, which video games do you think provide the best representation for the LGBTQ plus community, and why, or what sort of storyline or what aspects of it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's hard to be as I think the point was made in the question that two cis straight white males don't know shit. Yeah, let's be honest. But that's never stopped us straight white males from having an opinion before. So
we've got opinions, definitely.
Obviously. Representation, it's a tough one, because I think that for me, my view is that there's different reasons to have representation. I think the greatest thing about representation is having characters that are LGBTQ. That it's not a factor in the story necessarily. It's just who they are, and I think that's really, really important. And I think that there's been sort of some really good strides and some really interesting characters. I know that Celeste is a great example of an indie game. It's very good. I would suggest that I quite liked The Last of Us Left Behind, which sort of shows Ellie's sexuality. But I do feel a little bit The Last of Us Part 2 that they there's a relationship with Ellie and a female character which I think is handled relatively well, but there's still a little bit of resistance from other characters to their relationship and stuff, and I didn't really feel that it needed to be there. I felt that actually the fact that other characters accepted that as a relationship and having a problem with it would have been a stronger message than having that. And obviously there's some trans representation in it, and it's okay, but at the same time I think it's still very much, there's a reason for it in there. I'm not sure if it works entirely well, but I don't really know if I'm qualified to say that. But I think what we really need to have is one thing I do quite like in recent Assassin's Creed games is the fact that you can choose gender and you can choose your relationships with other characters. I think that's a good.
Yes.
And I know part of it's the fact that it's less animation time. You're not having any difference, different voicing and whatnot. But I also like the fact that you as a player have the choice of who you romance, and I think that could be extended a lot more in other games as well. Which is of having openly queer, trans, non-binary characters, etc., where they would act as their character would, and you're free to it. I don't know. That's what you think.
Well, I mean, to some extent, there's some good kind of representation, the ability to make same-sex relationships in the Mass Effect games. You have a lot of options, particularly in the third one. I think they got a lot of backlash from Fox News because of the sort of the lesbian or the monogendered relationship you can have in the first one. They kind of got afraid of some of the stuff in Fox News, so they actually wrote out some of the pansexuality of some of the characters in Mass Effect 2. By the time the third one came out, they started doing a little bit better. So, I mean, that was quite good. But the one that really stands out for me, and it might be because we just mentioned it a few minutes ago, is the Outer Worlds with the mechanic character in the Outer Worlds that you have with her. She, I mean, there's not really a big thing made about the fact that she's a lesbian, but you are basically you are helping her as a friend to have the most perfect date with this other NPC on a different on one of the space stations or something like that, and it's just a really nice way about. Again, it doesn't make a big deal about the fact that she is that. It's just, you're her friend and you're trying to make her have the best possible date. And I just thought that was a really nice way of including content like that without fetishizing it, without making it kind of weird or anything like that. It was just a really nice way of having that kind of content in the game and just making it kind of sweet, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's the it's just I think the best thing is for normalizing which something that should be normal. Is to represent it as such, which is that there is a character that's that's who they are, and it's not a factor. You would that could have equally been a mission for a straight character or whatever. It would have worked. And I think that's really important. I think we don't see enough of that in the media, which is that I tell you what, actually I really enjoyed another actually I thought was quite done was in Star Wars Squadrons, which we're going to talk about. There is I think on the Imperial side there's a character who is mentioned as a husband, and it's one of and it talks about why he joined the Empire and what he believes in. And again, it's a kind of, in a way, it's a throwaway comment, which is that there's his relationship as part of the reason why he joined the Empire, etc. Not to confuse, saying that, by being, gay, that it makes you evil and stuff, because it's actually trying to humanize, it's trying to explain why these characters did it. And it's just stuff like that, which is that it's a blinking and miss it kind of thing. It's just who the character is. There's no deal made of it. And that's great. And I think we just need to have that more embedded in culture. But again, straight white cis male.
Yeah, what do we know?
We don't know much. And to be honest, we, probably just shut on all this stuff, to be honest. But probably. Hey. Any more questions for you? Because I've got a couple more.
No, I think we are heading back to your list.
Righty-ho. So I got one here from long-time contributor Dazzlator, Dazman, Dazzy Big Boy. He wants to know that if myself or yourself had to fight each other in a WWE-style tag team match, who would your video game partner be?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I've got an answer.
Okay, let me hear yours first.
Okay. It's a difficult one because I don't know how to sort of stay the character without spoiling a moment of a game. But I'm going to say David from The Last of Us.
Okay.
Now, you're not, that's not make much sense to you. But if you know, you know. Okay?
Okay.
But, you know, this is a character who appears charming and, you know, quite mild-mannered and quite unthreatening.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. I don't want to ruin anything, but...
Surprises. Some good surprises there. Okay.
Just, you know, that's all I'm going to say. Again, anyone, I presume if anyone's listening to this and B, they've played The Last of Us and are familiar with the character, they'll be going, yeah, you tag that mother, and you'd be like, that's that's going down to the kind of, you know.
Okay. So the reason I wanted you to go first was to make sure you didn't steal mine. I know this is a game that I've maybe played the first introductory levels of, but I know you've completed it and you love it, and you tell me how great it is very, very often. I'm going with Kratos.
Boy, oh yeah. I mean,
boy,
from a pure point of view that I'd get my ass literally, well, my legs stuffed up my own ass. Yeah, Kratos is without a great shout. And yeah, I mean, in retrospect, my choice wouldn't really physically stand up to that kind of assault. I was going for the more, if you had to fight this person, that, you know,
like with cunning, like a cunning plan sort of thing.
Yeah, get inside your mind, and you know, it's what's going on? What's the real agenda? There's something not quite. Whereas what would happen is that if Kratos came along, he would also stuff his legs up his arse and spin around on his knees. So I don't know.
I'd just sit back and watch the two of you try and walk with your legs stuffed up your ass. Have a great time.
Would be like the spinning kind of like, you know, dolls that's got like bob and bounce. Like,
if you had already taken Kratos, I was going to go with Geralt of Rivia from the Witcher saga.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Who else would I get in? Video games. I was thinking, well, I could sort of like, you know, a sort of awesome Jedi. That would be quite a good one. But then, it's really, is it from a video game? Is it more from film?
I mean, you could have the second sister from Fallen Order or something like that if you particularly want. You could.
I tell you what, I'd have either Big Daddy or Big Sister from the BioShock games.
Yeah, Big Daddy is a good shout. You having one of those in your corner, you'd be very difficult to beat.
Yeah, you know, your limited space. Yeah, Big Sister would be more entertaining because she's a bit more live, leaps around, screams a lot. But you know, the Big Daddy just stomping, you know. And would Kratos still beat him? Yeah, but you know, I think they get some punches in.
Yeah, no, that would be a much fairer match, I think. I mean, I don't know what David looks like, but I'm guessing he's not as physically imposing as Kratos or the Big Daddy.
Yeah, he gets inside your mind now. Dante, that's the thing. He gets inside your mind. Okay. I've got another one. This is a controversial question here. This is from Enzo.
Enzo.
Why can't EA give us a decent Star Wars game? Whoa!
Oh, there.
Enzo said it. I'm looking at it now. This is a difficult one because I think both of us feel that, you know, as much as we're not fans of EA, they have kind of come out with some decent Star Wars games.
We literally a minute ago mentioned Fallen Order.
Yeah, and Star Wars Squadrons. I very much like Squadrons. I enjoyed the campaign, and I particularly in VR.
Our filthy assistant is kind of I think he's given up Anubis and is now worshipping Star Wars Squadrons as his primary religion now.
He is in a cult. Well, he says it's a clan, but he means cult.
He does.
And I do like to say that, you know, maybe it's because I am at heart an amazing Star Wars fan. Flying an X-Wing or an A-Wing or a TIE Fighter in VR is great.
Sublime. It's really nice.
And you're absolutely right. I mentioned Fallen Order. I recently completed Fallen Order a month or two back. And a really solid, really, you know, good game. You know, I'm not saying I don't know if I enjoyed it quite as much as you, but certainly not a bad game, and certainly I think a good Star Wars game in terms of story and setting and stuff like that. Brought some interesting mechanics to it. So I don't know if I necessarily agree that EA haven't given us a decent Star Wars game.
I feel like if we'd had that question a year, maybe 18 months ago, I would have thoroughly agreed with them. Although there are people out there that think Battlefront 2, once EA kind of stopped trying to monetize it so egregiously, turned into quite a good game. But
no, I agree. I mean, for me, I think that Star Wars is about story, so I look for those, and I think Battlefront did have a small campaign, and it wasn't a bad one. But here's what I want to go one further and state that actually I just think that the state of Star Wars is all over the place culturally at the moment, pop culture. We don't have time to get into it because we've got a podcast to get on with, but I absolutely loathe the sequels. I think they are absolutely money grabbing, badly thought out, classic ruining films. I hate them. I hate them so goddamn much. I hate anyone that likes them. I hate my own children because she quite likes Rey.
I quite like Rey, to be honest. I mean, the more I watch them, the more I think about them, the more I start unpicking the plot holes, and the less I like them every time I watch them.
Okay, that's just bad. Don't get me to be honest with the conversation. But that said, I've been getting into some of the animated shows, Clone Wars. We're watching that with the kids.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to moving on to Bad Batch and Rebels, and also Mandalorian, obviously. And I've really enjoyed those. It's made me remember what I like about Star Wars. So it's all over the place, and I think that's represented in the question. I'm going to go really deep. Why haven't EA given us a decent Star Wars game? I feel they're given something that I want as a Star Wars game. But what is Star Wars anymore?
Well, what is it?
If you'd have asked me before the sequels back in there, I'd say, well, it's this, it's the rise and fall of Darth Vader, and it's some spin-off series. But now it's kind of like, well, it's these films are good, these films are amazing, these films are okay-ish, these films are terrible. There's some spin-offs that are okay. There's some great TV series. There's some not great TV series. Is a HoloLens special. What is Star Wars?
Very telling, I mean, kind of going back to the games more specifically, that EA, without any kind of big announcement, is definitely losing the exclusivity rights to the Star Wars games, because we know for a fact that Ubisoft have a Star Wars game in development. I think there are some other studios that may also have Star Wars games in development, maybe not for a couple of years or two out, but they're not being made by EA is the big part of it here. So. Yeah. Clearly Disney weren't that happy with what they've put out.
Well, I also think that Disney have moved into the more lucrative thing, what they've done with their Marvel properties, which is that someone you can pitch a game and come to an agreement if they feel it fits within their wheelhouse.
I really hope that the Star Wars game is nothing like the Revengers minimum effort. I don't want to be spending arseholes in that either.
No, I agree, but then top it off, you got 2 great Spider-Man games from Sony. You got a great Iron Man game. As well. Yeah. Well, I'd say an okay Iron Man game, actually, to be honest, I'll be fair. An interesting, idea of a VR Iron Man game. And I think there's talk of some other games, sort of franchise spin-offs, etc. Again, they're going, I think the idea is that, you're going to get different titles. Probably you might get Spider-Man from someone else, that's not licensed exclusive to Sony. It was just for those games, So, so there you go. Why can't EA give us a decent Star Wars game? We think they have, but at the same time,
arguably they have. But we'll see what comes in the future.
But what is Star Wars fandom anymore? Enzo, what is it? What does it mean to you? I don't know. I don't really care that much. Whatever. Got one last question because we are running out of time here, and this is I'm only including this one because it's from. It's from someone that's interviewed us. I don't want to, so you can check us out on the Anyone Gaming channel. It's from Mike, but he wanted to know between you and me, Dante, who's the top? And I think what he's implying, if I've understood Stan correctly, is implying is that who would be particularly dominant sexually if we were in a sexual relationship. We're not. It wouldn't work. We're too different. But if we were, particularly when it comes to sexual acts, who would be the dominant, or penetrative one? To be honest, I don't know how you feel. I think that if the way we run the podcast is anything, we just let each other take turns. We
switch
wouldn't demand
it
either
when-
way, you know. We'll just swap around and reap the rewards. You know, we'll just try and
take a night of pitching instead of catching. Yeah, why not? Mix it up, whatever.
But you know, that's us. If we were hypothetically, as I said, as a relationship, it wouldn't work.
Not.
You know, we're incompatible as I think as romantic age. You know, it works well as co-hosts. But you know, just from a pure, I mean, obviously the Lard would work in our favour, I guess.
It would.
Well, to be honest, we practically were experimenting in the Lard in a lot of ways. That's the nature of being in a hot tub in Lard.
Well, I mean, how do you know? I mean, how do you does that not happen? Without you, sometimes it happens without you realising.
I mean, I think certainly we crossed some lines in our hot tub thing, and
we did.
No shame in it, guys. It's when you get in a hot tub with someone with caked in lard.
Yeah.
You can't you cannot control what happens. You'll slip and slide all over the place. But yeah, so I hope our Canadian friend has that satisfies his answer. Yeah, it's you know. But anyway, I think that wraps up this month's podcast, Dante. So, what about the socials? You're so good at this bit.
Okay. Oh, yeah. No, I never get it wrong. So, the socials you can find the Jambags crew on are on Facebook. You can find us if you search on Facebook for Jambags. You'll find the podcast page and you'll find ways to contact us there. You can contact us on Twitter. You've got @Jambags_UK. You'll find the official Jambags account, which is run by Rudy Manchego. And you'll also find the newly renamed Twitter handle for Dante Rodriguez, which is @DanteRDRGZJB. Much easier to say, clearly. Which you will find the Dante Rodriguez Twitter account as well. So talk to us on there, interact with us. We're really happy to hear feedback from people, you know, as long as it's good and not telling us that we're rubbish or anything like that. And yeah, you can get in touch with us there. You can also get in touch with us on Instagram, where you'll find pictures of various Mass Effect characters that I'm romancing at this particular point at the minute. So @Jambags_UK, you'll find the Jambags Instagram account on there. And you can interact with us on the YouTube message boards. So if you look for us on YouTube, you'll find some of our content there. And any of the videos will have a message board where you can interact with us socially there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to top off that, where can you listen to the Jambags podcast? Well, presumably you listen to it if you're hearing this, but we are available on Spotify. Just searching for Jambags. We are on Apple Podcasts, and we're on all good RSS apps on your phone. So I think we're also on Google Play, but if it's got an app where you listen to it, chances are we're on there as well. We're on Simplecast and also Stitcher as well, as a way to listen to a podcast. We also put a full version onto YouTube. It's audio only, but you can absolutely put it on there. But in any way that you listen to us, if there is an option to leave a like, a subscribe, or a review, really does help. Please do it. Nice stuff, obviously. It's about Dante, but everyone, I don't really care, but particularly about me. And that'll be great. So, Dante, I think it just remains for us to say goodbye.
Yeah, now once we set up the website for ordering very lardy-based water, we will let you know the link for that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jambaggers, thank you for tuning in all the way to the end of another Jambags podcast. And next time you're fighting someone in Sekiro or Dark Souls or anything like that, just go straight for the Jambags. It's the only way to get them.
Oh, yeah. So, Dante, I've got a quick question actually, just in the past podcast. Obviously, I remember. I understand you're also a member of gamers.
GASH.
Of Gamers Against Stupid Hard Levels.
Yeah. Someone came up with that acronym. It's brilliant.
That's really clever. But I've got a question. So your complaint is that you really struggled with Sekiro, yeah?
Yes, Sekiro particularly. I mean, I tried the original Dark Souls. I just found that janky because it's like a early 360 game, and Bloodborne. I just wasn't feeling Bloodborne. But yeah, Sekiro specifically, I would like to.
But particularly, what is it you struggled with?
Well, my I get very sore fingers, and my hands kind of just kind of fall. The controller falls out of my hand. I rage quit, particularly.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question on this. Were you, or did you have blood on your hands when you were playing these games?
No. The Lard's a fairly new thing since we started Hot Tub podcasting.
I only ask because I keep seeing the controller fly out of your hand.
Yeah.
Particularly, and then you rage quitting after that's happened.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much the standard thing. It's like 10 minutes of trying to beat the same boss, and then throw controller, falls out of hand, rage quit. Yeah, that every time, and that's nothing to do with any Lard.
Okay, just that all your controllers are quite gunked up in Lard.
Well, they are now. Yeah.
Okay, just. Okay, what are you playing now?
Well, I was just playing Mass Effect, something that's not particularly difficult. But you think I should go back post Lard and try and approach these games with lardy fingers?
Yeah,